Hey guys, what's up? I'm telling you, you're not going to believe these contract incentives that never got paid out. NBA players get very specific guarantees and incentives in their contracts all the time now. However, sometimes these players get really close to hitting them and yet never see them actually get paid out. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 of those instances. Number 10, Baron Davis. Davis was obligated to receive an extra $1 million if he was able to play in 70 games and help his team win at least 30 of them throughout the season. Fast forward to the end of the season, and he played 75 total games. Good so far. But the team ended with a 29-53 record. His team fell just one loss short, but I guess the organization didn't really take any pity on him. I mean, a deal's a deal, right? He ended up missing out on that money. Number 9, Glen Davis. Davis had a contract with the Boston Celtics that included a weight loss incentive. Now, nobody has officially confirmed these rumors or spoken out about the weight loss points he was expected to hit. However, we do know that the contract would have netted him an extra $500,000 for reaching and staying at a certain weight throughout the year. Personally, I think that's a hell of a way to stay in shape, but I guess it wasn't good enough for Davis. At number 8, Evan Fournier. When Fournier was still on the Orlando Magic, he was given a wild incentive in his contract that was simply impossible at the time. The incentive was that he needed to win the NBA title with the Magic that season in order to get a $500,000 bonus. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. The Magic in the past 5 years haven't exactly been competitive, and it's shocking that they even decided to put that in instead of something maybe a little more achievable. Number 7, Dion Waiters. Waiters was promised an additional $1.1 million in his contract, and all that he had to do was play in more than 70 games the upcoming season. But not only did Waiters miss the goal and not receive his money, he just wasn't even close. Looking back at the records, Dion only got himself on the court for 30 total games, so he fell 40 games shy. But hey, at least he can say that he started in every one of those 30. Number 6 is Paul Millsap. Millsap was a great player on both ends of the floor, but his defensive capabilities were clearly getting worse the last couple seasons. That didn't stop his team from offering an incentive in his contract for $250,000 if he was able to make the all-defensive first team. They also gave him a backup clause, $150,000, for making the all-defensive second team. At the end of the year, though, it didn't really matter because he didn't make either of those rosters. In fact, the first team was made up of Robert Covington, Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert, Jrue Hoilday, and Victor Oladipo, and the second team had Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, Al Horford, and DeJounte Murray. Moving on to number 5, and it's Jrue Hoilday. I'd say this one was a little unfair for Hoilday. He had an incentive locked into his contract that would give him an extra $255,000 if he were to play in 67 games for the upcoming season and average 7.3 assists and 3.15 rebounds per game. Now, I checked back on his stats, and it turns out that he averaged over 4 rebounds a game. However, he only averaged 6 assists per contest, and the team never ended up paying him that money because he didn't check every box. Maybe the organization knew that Jrue wasn't subscribed to our YouTube channel. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure they would have given him that cash anyways. Alright, number 4 is Dante Exum. Back in 2020, he had an incentive which would have gotten him an extra $200,000 if he was able to play in 67 games. He had another $200,000 bonus tacked onto the end of that if he were to play in 72 games. But not even halfway through the season, Exum was forced to miss 22 games due to injury and then later found himself hurt once again. He missed the mark on both of these by a large margin and had the bonus nixed because of injury. Number 3, Maxi Kleber. A lot of you might not know who this guy is, but Maxi Kleber is a solid role player for the Dallas Mavericks. The emphasis on that is solid. He is a role player for a reason, and while he makes contributions, he's not exactly a superstar on the court. But that didn't stop his team from giving him a $150,000 bonus if he were to make the all-defensive team. Now, after watching him play, I'd say it's clear that he's an above-average paint defender, but to make the all-defense teams, you gotta stand out from the star players in the league and have the numbers back you up, and Kleber just didn't have either, so subsequently missed out on that money. At number 2, it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Funny enough, Caldwell-Pope's contract guarantee was exactly the same as Kleber's. He was guaranteed to receive $163,000 at the end of the year if he could somehow find a way to make it onto the all-defense team. If you've watched him play the last few years, this dude does very little on defense. That season he averaged less than 1 steal a game, and he's a guard, and he really didn't have great block numbers or high defensive rating. Plus, nobody really connects his name to strong defense anyways. He's really known more as a sharpshooter from behind the arc. Coming in at number 1 is Dion Waiters. Again, it's shocking that Waiters ends up back on this list, and for the same thing as before, but it really happened. Last season, Waiters was still under contract, a contract that would have guaranteed him $1.15 million if he could play in 70 games that year. There was nothing else added on, no playoff wins or stats needed. He just had to get on the court and stick it out for his team. The only problem was that he was a free agent almost the entire season. He was on a roster at the very beginning of the year, but missed a lot of time once he was released. Looking at the stats, it appears that toward the end of the season, he was only able to appear in 3 games. Safe to say, he missed that $1.15 million by quite a lot. Hey, that does it for this video on the top 10 guarantees and incentives that were in NBA player contracts that never ended up getting paid out. It's a shame all that money was just so close and yet so far. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to check out the top 10 things you didn't know about the NBA schedule.